So this is a little bit out of the ordinary. If you guys go way back on the channel, I actually did a movie review for Star Wars. What was it, The Last Jedi, I think it was called. The one was directed by Rian Johnson, which I thought was trash, which I had very strong opinions about it, which is why I decided to make that video. A lot of the times my friends will just like have these discussions, and that's like a good way to get my feelings out about the movie. But Honey Boy is a lot smaller of a movie, and I don't really have any friends to talk to about it, so I'll talk to you guys about it. I'll vent to you guys about my thoughts on it. And if you guys don't know this, I'm a very big Shia LaBeouf fan. Maybe you guys do know it. We did our tier list video where I ranked Shia LaBeouf somewhere in the top. You'll have to go watch that. And then also, way back in the day, we did, when we were doing our Fits That Keep Me From Ending It All podcast, he was the start of it. Shia LaBeouf has a big influence on my life, especially when it comes to fashion. Like, I love the way he dresses. I also think he's, like, such a cool dude. He's easily my favorite actor. To go back to, I love the way he dresses. Like, he inspired me to buy the SFBs, which make an appearance in this movie, which I was so happy with. I loved it. Basically, with this movie, Shia tries to tell a story of the hardship that he kind of went through in his earlier years, kind of like the Even Stevens days when he was shooting that and living with his father and really just becoming an actor and, you know, growing in that way. The hardships he had to go through, and then the effects it had on him later in his life, which kind of lead up to now in a way, but mostly just cover when he was really having a lot of trouble with like drinking and having the run-ins with the police. So like I said, this film covers when he was younger and then goes up to like current day. So there are two actors that play Shia in this movie, and then Shia himself actually plays his dad. But they actually don't use the real names of the people. Like Shia is swapped to Otis, and I forget what his dad's name is even, like Jerry or something. But Lucas Hedges portrays Shia when he is older, and he's famous for roles, or like things I've seen him in, are Manchester by the Sea, 3 Billboards, which he's really good in, and I love that movie. Also saw him in Lady Bird. I guess he was in Moonrise Kingdom, but it was a long time since I saw that. And then also he played the older brother in mid-90s. And lastly, Ben is Back, which I want to say was on Amazon Prime, or maybe it was Netflix, but that was a pretty good movie. And a lot of that just kind of weighed on his acting skills, and I do think he does a very good job acting in this. For the most part, he does a spot-on Shia impression, like when he's just having like a normal conversation, or maybe like a little bit of a heated conversation. His voice and like mannerisms fit Shia's pretty well. But then there are times when they shoot a scene where he kind of has like a breakdown, and he doesn't really cover how Shia acts in that too much, I think. I don't think that really takes away from the film at all, because they do actually create the separation of, oh, this isn't Shia. They call him like Otis and stuff, so it is a little bit different. But they also do some other things to kind of change up the story. Like the years are different, I'm pretty sure, because when they talk about the Even Stevens stuff, they say it's 2005, which if you are an Even Stevens buff, which I'm actually not, I'm currently working my way through Even Stevens on Disney+, but if you look it up, you can see that Even Stevens ran from 2000 to 2003, including the Even Stevens movie, so 2005 would just be too late. You might also think that Lucas Hedges doesn't actually look like Shia too much, and I would agree, but it's kind of weird because he really got like kind of jacked for this role, but it's like the kind of jack that Shia is like kind of now, because he did go through like a skinny phase and stuff, but yeah, and like they show him working out at one point, it's like, wow, he does really look like Shia when you can see him like muscular and then also dressing like Shia. It's kind of funny because I feel like Shia specifically put together all these outfits for him. Like I feel like Shia had a very, very big hand in what he wore. Like he dictated everything to the T what he wore, because these outfits are in some scenes exactly the same as Shia wore. Like I said, we like outfits on this channel, we like clothing, so I paid a huge attention to the detail put into the outfits. And it's funny because you can actually see some of Shia's clothes that he wears in real life, or maybe they're replicas of what he wears in real life, worn by Lucas Hedges portraying him in the film, such as the NYPD hoodie that Shia wears. Lucas wears that, and then also the SFBs, which, like I said, Shia inspired me to get those because I think they look cool, and I thought that was really cool. And I really feel like a lot of the other people who are interested in this movie will probably appreciate that a lot as well, because this isn't really, this isn't like a blockbuster movie. This isn't Transformers at all. This isn't some like drama, like mystery thriller, like Disturbia or anything. This is a Shia story. This is a story from his childhood. This is about him, and he's trying to tell his fans or like the viewers about his life. So I'm guessing a lot of the people who are watching this are, pretty big fans of his work or of him. So I think they appreciate the details like this as well. So the younger actor that portrays Shia when he is in even Stevens' age and stuff, I think he was 12 in the movie, is Noah Jupe, and it says here that he was in A Quiet Place, which I've seen. He's also in Wonder, which I've seen, but I don't really remember his roles in that, so I'm guessing maybe they weren't major. And then also looks like he is in Ford versus Ferrari, so kind of looks like he's got a pretty promising career, and it definitely fits into his acting in Honey Boy, because I thought he did a great job. There were a lot of very heavy scenes in this. Not only did Lucas have to act his part and, show the emotion of dealing with what happened when Shia was younger, but Noah, 12-year-old Shia, had to react to these situations. That's pretty much all of what Lucas's acting is him reacting to what happens when he goes to rehab, and they label it as PTSD. So, Lucas is dealing with this trauma, and then Noah actually has to experience it firsthand, in the moment. So that covers the actors who play Shia, and then we can actually talk about Shia himself, because he plays his dad, which I just looked up, and the name is actually James for his dad. I'm not sure what his dad's real name is, but yeah, they go with James in this. And he makes his first appearance, I want to say probably 10 minutes into it, where Noah, or young Shia, is just leaving the set of Even Stevens, and he's hitting on a woman and telling some jokes. And it's kind of funny because throughout the movie he's always telling these jokes, which are pretty bad jokes, very inappropriately or poorly placed jokes as well. Like he'll say some racist jokes or just very offensive jokes in general. But that being said, I think Shia does a good job. He is obviously, a great actor, and I don't really have anything to base off because I never saw anything of his dad. I know they put some actual footage in of his dad. I know I've heard that his family, or he was raised by gypsies, but didn't really cover too much of that. I guess they do live very strangely in the movie, which I feel like they could have done a lot better job to explain, because only Shia's dad is in the movie. You see some appearances made by his mom's boyfriend or husband. I'm not sure what the specific relationship is there, but you never actually get the whole story of where his mom is, why she's not there. I think they just say that she's off working, or that she can't take care of Shia because she's working. It's kind of like a gray area that would have maybe made more sense to the viewers if they delved into it more, which I guess could possibly come from the short runtime of this film, or because it's only an hour and a half. I feel like they could have easily extended this to 2 hours, maybe a little bit over 2 hours, just to put more meat on that and give you everything. But I guess at that point a lot of people could have gotten bored, because there's not too much exciting that happens in this. There are some very heavy emotional events, but for the most part, it's, just storytelling. And this kind of ambiguity also makes an appearance at the end of the film, where they don't really explain exactly what happened. Since this is based on real life, I will say, I feel like it's not really a spoiler. You could probably look this up and find the answer. But at the end of the film, they don't really make it clear if Shia's dad is dead or not. They definitely lean towards, insinuating that he's, either dead or out of Shia's life at this point. But yeah, I think that is also something that they could have been a little bit more clear on. And another thing is, if you're going into this movie wanting to see behind the scenes of Shia's acting work, behind the scenes of Even Stevens or behind the scenes of Transformers, I wouldn't really say this is exactly the movie for you. This is more so just backstory of what was happening in his life at that point. You do get a little bit of behind the scenes of Even Stevens, him acting there, and some drama with his family coming up while he's just trying to, live his life, do his career. He has to deal with these things in the family as well. But as far as Transformers go, I think it opens up with a Transformers scene where he's dealing with an explosion and getting pulled back, which is kind of a cool scene, and that's how it opens up. But other than that, you don't see any other acting from outside of Even Stevens. But yeah, I feel like I've covered mostly everything without actually telling you what happens in the movie. It is a very emotional movie that tells kind of the hardships of this stress that Shia had to deal with while he was, supporting his father and only 12 years old, and all the stuff that happened to him then. And I think the actor Noah, who plays him at that age, does a wonderful job at dealing with this and, making it believable. And Shia being the dad throughout the movie, especially mainly that portion of Shia's life when they're dealing with the 12-year-old. They also show his father's perspective of it, or Shia's perspective as him playing his father, which helps you sympathize with him a little bit because he is not the greatest father figure. And then when you fast forward to Shia in rehab, played by Lucas Hedges, I think he does a wonderful job playing as Shia. There are some, like I said, there are some parts where he kind of strays away and could have maybe done a little bit better job, but for the most part, I think he definitely did a great job. And I love just seeing him dressed up as Shia because the outfits are great. But I really enjoyed this movie. I don't think it's like a crazy movie or anything like that, but just being such a big fan of Shia, I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was nice that he shared this story with everybody, and yeah, I enjoyed that. And if you guys are also a big Shia fan, I would definitely recommend seeing it. If you're not a Shia fan or interested in him at all, I don't know why you're watching this review, but I would say maybe not watch it. Definitely don't watch it in theaters, but if it's on a streaming service, I feel like it'll probably come to Amazon Prime because it is an Amazon Prime movie, or they bought the rights after it appeared at Sundance a while ago, I want to say. But yeah, great movie. I enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.